So here we are. It's the event we wait 12 months for. It's the event that stops this corner of the world. It's the event that creates heroes and it creates villains. It's the event that always ends with a moment that lives on forever. There's no need for further theatrics. This is the BDSFA Premier League First Division Grand Final between Doonside Hawks and Ponds Football Club. A rivalry not necessarily between clubs, but a rivalry between club members. A fixture that brings the A game of the best players in the district. A fixture that brings up good and bad connotations, depending on whom you support. Joining me on this most enticing of occasions is, of course, Quakers Hill Juniors coach Julian Bombach, part of the 2018 double-winning squad that is still a feat yet to be matched, a man who you all enjoy hearing, especially me. I'll get you to do some introductions. Julian, welcome back. Who is your eye on tonight?
Thanks, Mark. Pleasure to be here. Thanks for the warm introduction, as always. Love to be a part of this, especially considering I can't make as a coach, it seems. So always good to do the comms. Look, I think for me, it really comes down to which of this front pairing, I guess, for Doonside and the front three, I guess, for Ponds is going to do the business on the day. Both lethal attacks, both score a bucket load of goals. Who's going to come up on top of the defence, the respective defence tonight? I think that's, state the obvious, that's going to be the difference tonight.
I think you're exactly right. It's been a year as predicted at the start, by the way, by most of the people who are even remotely close to the competition, that this year would be a year dominated by who was able to put the most in the back of the net, because there were some lethal front lines on paper heading into this one. It's been one of the highest scoring years in the history of Premier League, certainly in the recent history, that is. It's not been a year dominated by defences. Ponds, look, they come into this game off the back of a really positive end to the season, a slightly rejigged formation and a couple of players within that formation that's allowed them to score even more and concede even less. Jules, Ponds put it to you guys on the final day of the season. I hate to bring it up, but is there a single player that afternoon who didn't shine brightly?
No, look, that's credit to them, and I think Ellie, they were brilliant on the day, and we just weren't. It was probably a combination of the both, and a long season, bit of a congested end to the season for us personally, but in terms of who probably shone the brightest, then that was, Fodod was just sensational. Everything he touched turned to gold. Ridiculously good finish. And I think he knew that he needed to get the golden boot. He needed a few goals to do that. And by God, did he take his chances when he got them.
We will talk about Ponds' brand new number 9 this season, FSK Fardod Sanjakani, of course, the top goal scorer in his debut season back in Blacktown, but for Ponds, of course, a Park Lee representative back of yesteryear. We will mention all things good about him, but of course he's not the only Golden Boot contender and guy who put teams to the sword this year. We'll get to Marcus Correa at some point. That's without mentioning the man who got the man of the match when these two teams met in the 2022 final. There's so much to talk about, and there's a reason why we came on live so early. But before we go any further, I will actually mention to our live audience we are going to partake in a moment's silence prior to the game due to the horrendously unfortunate passing of an all-age men's player that happened in Granville today. If you haven't heard the news, I won't go into it too much, but we would like to pay our respects to not just a neighbour, but a footballing friend, and the people that are certainly affected by that. So when we do get to that moment, you'll hear us just sort of cut our conversation short. But let's roll back into the football side of things. We're going to hear the national anthem. We're going to hear the classic FIFA anthem walkout that you hear whether you're at an NPL game 10 years ago, or you're here at an NPL game now, or you're here at the World Cup. You're going to hear it. You're going to feel G'd up. I want to get something of a prediction from you before we go into the lineups.
Yeah, look, it's a tough one, really. You've got two teams here who, like I said, they love to attack. I think the one guarantee that we're going to get in this game, I'm hopeful for the viewers as well, is goals, goals, goals. So for me, I think Ponds just edge it. And the reason why I say that is I truly believe that Doonside, watching them last week in the flesh against Marion, were sensational. Did not let them get a foot in the game. And credit to them, but I think there's a bit of, they may have played their grand final already in terms of that. Ponds have been steady in these final series, just getting the results that they need to progress, and I think they're just building up to this, absolute crescendo and signing off some of the true legends of their club as well.
Well, there's certainly rumours that have been circulating around the Blacktown football sphere that a certain Matthew Hubbard and a certain Scott Jackson may depart the Premier League after a combined nearly 50 years together playing from clubs like Ponds, like Doonside. Scotty also had a stint at Marion back in his day. Of course, Matty Hubbard, one of the icons of that NPL 1 side or State League 1 side back in the day that Spartans made to the top. So in terms of this ground here, and this association, this area, this corner of Western Sydney football, some esteemed figures and arguably some of the most consistent names in football at local association level might bid farewell. Will it be a farewell that comes with a trophy at the end of it? I think you've suggested that that seems to be what you think will happen. Part of me very much, a lot of me sees Ponds also winning this one as well. In saying that, I, as much as I agree with your reasons, I can never count out Doonside. They always tell me to never count out Doonside. Will I give a prediction? No, because I'll get in trouble. However, I'm going to throw all those things off to you. Anything controversial is going to be yours to say, and you can make the enemies and not me, because I'm sick of doing it.
Yeah.
But look, before we go through these lineups, I just want to say thank you so much to all of the people who have made this season happen. In terms of our live streams, there have been changes, there have been late delays, there has been so much rained out games. The fact that we're at this point now after 18 PL1 rounds, 21 PL2 rounds and everything in between, the fact that we got 60 plus grand finals happening over the previous day, today and tomorrow is an absolute testament to the people who make this association tick and the players who just invest their time, not into the Premier League product, but the whole product as a whole. It is such an honour to work for and with and among you guys. Now I think we should start to go towards the lineups. Jules, are you happy to make the transition into the lineups?
Let's do it.
Let's start with, I think we should start with the challengers, which is technically Ponds because they came in third place. So Aidan Mantaroglu will start in goal, 2015 goalkeeper for Polonia back in the day, a champion of champions winner. Not the only one, because in front of him there's two men by the name of Scott Jackson and Matthew Hubbard, as you know, wearing 2 and 3 respectively. And as you know also well, 11 straight grand finals for both of them. Scott also made one in 2009, by the way, where he was walked out onto the pitch by Jaden Swerve and Jake Taylor, who will start in the same two positions, well, pretty much the same two positions in defence when we get to the other lineup. So, Aidan Mantaroglu, Scott Jackson and Matty Hubbard, of course, the most recent Premier League champion of champions winners. Next to Victor Leby, who got sent off from the bench in this fixture last year when they faced Marion and went down 2-1. Alex Kwok has been something of a revelation as the NPL music starts to get played, which I'll cue now in for you. And that rounds out a very, very strong back four. Alex Kwok, I know you're a big fan of. Let's talk about him.
Massive fan of him. Great technically. Provides that overlap for Ponds when they drop their 6 in and create the back 3. Absolutely brilliant. Great on the ball. A lot of pace. And just brave, which I love.
A midfield 3 that begins with the number 6, Ibi Swedan, was the first man to be sent off in this fixture last year, is somebody who absolutely plays the game IQ-wise better than most, if not all. Ahead of him is the exceptional mercurial Sammy De Oliveira, who has really come on in leaps and bounds in the last couple of weeks. As he mentioned on the podcast this week, if you haven't been one of the 1,000 people that have already watched it, Taylor Hunter is at the top of that midfield after pushing up from 8. And he's played more games than anybody because he played most of reserve and then would play the entire first grade. Look, I'm just going to point to one man here. Ibi Swedan loves a goal in a grand final, loves to get sent off in one too. Hero and villain. Thank you for joining us for both the Welcome to Country and the Australian National Anthem. I believe soon to observe a moment's silence. While the players go across and shake each other's hands, let's go back into it. We will talk about the rest of the Ponds team. So the front three of Blake Curry, who has 2 5-haul goals scoring instances to his name in the 13 jersey. Blake Sker scored in the grand final last year, the opening goal, and of course 32 goal and all competition striker Fardod Sanjakani. Let's not even talk about them anymore because we have Doonside to talk about now. Matt Dudgeon came into the team about 13 games ago, has been an absolute stalwart between the sticks, a back four from right to left, as you know it, and basically unchanged for the last 3 years since they last won the championship. Jordan Hannon, Jaden Zwerab in his 19th year at the club, Jake Taylor and Liam Howarth, all-star representative left back, and got 2 assists to help send them into this game in the match of the round. Nick Couchy on the right of a 4-4-2, Kyle Dominici off to the left of that. His younger brother Ryan in the 10, Daniel Alessi, who won this game in 2022 with a goal in the 9th minute, starts with the 8 jersey on his back. Marcus Correa, 22 goals this season, close to the Golden Boot. Ethan Eichen with 12 to his name after he picked up one last week as well. We're about to observe a minute's silence, but we'll just talk a couple of words before them. Just one player that stands out for you from that Doonside.
Very hard to go past Ethan Eichen for me. The man for the big occasion. Obviously, had the pleasure of coaching him as well, and yeah, I think he'll do well tonight.
Taylor Hunter, captain. Jaden Zwerab, captain. Please observe the minute's silence with us. Our warmest and our wellest wishes to our friends united by football and in tragedy, unfortunately, today from Granville. We'll head back to the football now, but again, final well wishes to our friends up the road. Absolute tragedy today. Ponds ready to go. Dooney, fast starters when these two met in 2022. Could be a swan song for 2 of the boys from Ponds, which makes me feel like they're a bit more motivated. Doonside have just watched their reserve grade go down after a wicked goal, and I suggest you go watch it back after this game by Monzia Conley from Blacktown Workers. Congratulations to those boys, by the way. Maybe they'll be a bit invigorated by that, Julian.
Could be, yeah. It can work one or two ways. You can be invigorated, obviously, if you get the win. I know, obviously, from 2018 when Quakers were able to do the double, it was huge, but yeah.
Double. Huh? Unbelievable. Didn't know you did the double.
Well, it's
not like we mentioned it.
Yeah, not like we mentioned it all the time.
You want me to mention it one more time? We're going to fill a quota, right?
Please do it. Please do it. It's the last time I won anything.
You're going to win the hearts of the Match of the Round audience here tonight. Fantastic to hear and see that there are already over 105 people tuning in. 105 people unlucky to not be here. In the flesh, here we go. Dominici underway with the first possession of the game. Big press by Blake Curry. Jordan Hannon puts it out into touch. Nick Couchy couldn't keep it in. Scotty Jackson competing with a red bin, which is for some reason in the pitch. It's Blacktown football already at its very, very best. Dominici picks it up. That's Ryan, by the way, in the 10. Kyle's in the 40 jersey. Picked up there by Alex Kwok. Here is Sammy De Oliveira, and Ibi Swedan scored against Marion with a thunderbolt heading this way. By the way, they were running right to left in the daytime when Ponds featured in the grand final versus Marion back in the day. They did go on, in fact, to lose that game. But in saying that, that 2020 team and that 2020 final was really one to behold. Fardod Sanjikani picks up his first touch, his first grand final since unfortunately having his cut short, along with a bunch of other Norwest boys, cut short last year in a game where the lights turned off. Matty Hubbard's first touch in what might be his final Premier League game. Not sure what will happen in the mentality of those two boys if today doesn't go their way, but they're certainly motivated to be here tonight. Scotty Jackson up for his first header and not the last of the day. Alessi beaten to it by Taylor Hunt, who got that magical assist for Blake Sker's goal, you might remember, last year to open the scoring.
Brilliant assist. Taylor, he can pull the strings. It's Sker's obviously always a threat going forward as well. His pace is just so difficult to deal with.
Blake Sker has 19 assists this year to go along with 11 goals, by the way.
Unbelievable.
Absolute start. And ball put in early by Doonside. Scotty Jackson gets it away. Goes back to Jackson from Blake Curry, who just hoofs it clear. It's come towards Fardod Sanjikani. Ended up being a really good pass. And now Doonside have to work back, dog it in defence. Really good call there by Antonio Perella to let that go on. Scotty wanted to put a little hit there on Nick Couchy, but Couchy was able to evade it. Coming together there between Jake Taylor and Blake Sker. And that's been called up there. The advantage maybe just helping out Doonside the Hawks a little bit there. Sammy De Oliveira picked up 2 goals this season in the same game. Here's 2 goals for the season. A third tonight. Wouldn't that be something? Kid can play. Ball sent long. Dudgeon's not going to come for this one. Blake Curry winning out of the sky. Fardod Sanjikani looking for goal number 33. Blake Sker scored in this game in 2023. Taken off Curry. Picked up by Hannon. Fardod Sanjikani lets him know he's there. Jordan Hannon deciding that he is going to continue on despite the fact that he'll be welcoming a baby into the world next year, which I think is fantastic news, not just for the competition, but also for Doonside as well. A solid, solid right back. Ethan Eichen, your old boy, back in the grand final, was the player of the match when these two met in 2022.
Absolutely.
Will he get a goal tonight, you reckon?
I definitely think he's worth one. And I think both strikers, both the danger men, Fardod and Eichen, are probably destined to get at least one each, so keep an eye on those two, the battle there.
Victor Levy's put a slight hit there on Nick Couchy being targeted a couple of times. Alex Kwok puts a dainty little touch on that as Scotty Jackson pivots on a dime.
One thing I will say about Fardod, great player, but I've never gotten the players that wear gloves and no long-sleeved. Yeah.
I understand. Yeah. Not a glove man yourself?
Look, I love gloves, just got to wear long sleeves with it. It's a fine at my club.
Good. Long throw sent in. Scotty Jackson intervenes. Nick Couchy was there. Doonside looking to find another early goal against their emerging rivals, Pons. Fardod Sanjikani clearly hindered, but again, the advantage Antonio Perello might have actually helped the Doonside boys there.
See, what if I was Ellie at the moment, I wouldn't be too happy with the last 2 advantage calls, but, you know, Antonio normally makes some pretty great decisions, so
you know, we talk about form players. Forgive me for interrupting.
No, you're right.
We're talking about form players a lot in this competition. Antonio Perello's had a fantastic year
by
all accounts, and by the way, we actually do formally take accounts of referees, so the feedback for him has been fantastic, and there's absolutely no one more deserving of having this grand final after his performance this year. Looking fantastic, by the way, Antonio. What a transformation you've had. That's been sent out wide. Liam Howard's first involvement, really, of the game. It's the first time it's really gone down that far side as well. Howarth jumping. Howarth sending that forward now. Another big coming together there. Kyle Dominici involved. One of the players of the year this year. Eichen and Correa looking to combine for the first time. That's been hit straight into the midriff, I think, of Matty Hubbard. Ball across the face of goal. Really good ball, but no one there besides Scotty Jackson, who's tearing down this near side touchline and keeps it in and dinks it towards his rather quite tall number 9 with no long sleeves. I'm not going to be able to unsee that now.
Yeah. I've ruined it now.
Yeah, real concern here for Matty Hubbard. Now, obviously, was forced to come off last year after making an incredible interception against Benny Lamb of Marion. After Benny Lamb put the ball in the box with his left foot, he sort of landed awkwardly on a knee that was already pretty much 100% injured. I think that just hit him in a soft spot in the face. So he'll be all right. He's a tough cookie, probably the toughest out there, actually. Ryan Dominici going to be key to keeping this midfield locked down. Jake Taylor gets a good touch under pressure there, under duress, and he goes for that Trivella pass, which by all accounts from Doonside, they hate, but on this occasion it's actually worked out quite well. The marauding fullback, that is Liam Howarth gets forward. Kyle Dominici can hit a real fizzer from distance. Finds his brother here. He scored to send them into the grand final a week ago. His second goal proving to be the winner. Nick Couchy from Kellyville United and from Colts. Here now to Doonside after coming to River via the Blacktown route. This will be a big coming together here. Jaden Zwerb up against FSK for the first time we've seen tonight. Skur in a central position here as he facilitates out wide to Alex Kwok. When these two teams first met at Glendenning Reserve this season on a day when everything else was called off, the front three, Curry, Skur and Fardod, all scored. It was opened by Skur, then Fardod, then Blake Curry got one a couple of minutes after that in a second half grubbing. Also good to have Eli El Hakim actually here, by the way. He's away from the game last year due to a wedding, as De Oliveira looks to show us what he can do. Destroyed the Hills comp in the last couple of years as Zwerb sends it into the night sky. It's been won by Scotty Jackson, who's put Ethan Eichen through. Unbelievable! Ethan Eichen! He's inevitable! Oh my word, his dad might sponsor the club, but I think Eichen owns them in grand finals.
Unbelievable. Just so uncharacteristic mistake there. But you give Eichen half a chance, he is going to bury it.
It looked like he was also shown one side of the goal by Aidan Mantaroglu. Ethan Eichen scores his most important goal of the season. 2 on the bounce now, a couple of weeks after returning back from European international duty. And the grand final has been opened up in the opening moments of the game. Last year it was 8 minutes. This time it's 7, I should say. Back in 2022 it was 8. Now it's 7. But I just want to touch on the contribution of that goal, unfortunately, by Scotty Jackson. That is a horror moment. Not one that I think he saw coming. I think he just expected someone to be there. What do you say to that?
It's a coach killer. I mean, like Scotty Jackson, like I said, so uncharacteristic for him to make that mistake. But yeah, he's probably assumed that, Hubbard, or the likes of Hubbard's just sitting there in that central position, just willing to pick it up.
Well, those guys have played together for over a decade now as Doonside win a free kick. And I'll tell you what, one of the predictions I heard today was that Doonside would score early and Pons would become a bit more frustrated as the game went on. I didn't think it would be this early. We're seeing almost a repeat. But I can't believe it. Ethan Eichen, goal number 13 for the year in all comps.
Probably one of the most easiest finishes. Like you said, Aiden sort of just showed him one side.
Hang on, there's a chance for Nick Couchy, the back post, by the way. Can Dominici deliver the good ball in? Hubbard was there this time. Can I just say, I don't even think the crowd realised what had happened. I think they were waiting for an offside flag, which was obviously never going to come. I think we were kind of waiting for someone to say, no, that's not in the script.
Bizarre.
It did look bizarre. Eichen started celebrating on his own-some, and then he was on his lonesome.
Yep.
Oh, my word. I don't want to read too much into the story. But Scotty Jackson looks a little crestfallen for a guy who's always full of confidence. I can tell you what, he's probably going to have a really ripper last 80 minutes of this game because now he's got more than something to prove. Pons now need to respond. And you know what? Doonside, since before their grand final win of 2022, when they have taken a 1-goal lead, they have not rescinded that lead since before that grand final.
Wow.
It's been next to 3 years since their last 1-goal advantage ended up with them on the losing side of the scorecard. So history tells you that they've already won this game.
Some start.
Thank you to Jaden Zoreb for picking that up, by the way. I'd like to say I don't miss much, but he gave me something I didn't know. We have a guy on the roof, by the way. Either way, Blake Skur's picked this up. Out of defence comes Jake Taylor. Blake Skur, the 2022 Player of the Year on the year
brilliant.
where Doonside won, has come all the way from central to the left-hand side. Scotty Jackson, something to prove tonight. Square pass to find Ibi Swedan, who'll have a say at some point, no doubt. Back to Swedan on this near side touchline. A little bit of a push in his back, enough to warrant the free kick. Can Pons find a way back into this game from this set piece? We know they're good from throws, Blake Skur. We know they're good from set pieces, a la the height that they have. I always ask you about set pieces, but I think I'm going to let it pass this time, otherwise our returning viewers will just get bored. The elevator to take. In fact, it was Sweet Anne, forgive me, a little shy of the 18, of the penalty spot, I should say. Big tackle in by Eichen. On Skur, the two very prominent forwards coming together. I think that's Howarth who's away. He's got space to run into and pace to burn. Cuts back, though, as Pons recuperates a little bit. I think he's being chased by the captain, by the way. Brilliant square pass to find Marcus Correa, who spoke so well. That's a very good-looking pass out wide. It's spread it open. Look at the space here for Jordan Hannon! Oh, it was a sitter! The man who confirmed that they will be heading into the last day of the season with a chance of winning the minor premiership with his free kick goal against Tigers has just put one wide. And it was a fullback's finish.
It definitely was. It's definitely, he just skewed it off the inside of his foot. I thought it may even fall to Eichen just for a tap in at one stage. But unfortunately, it's just gone wide and evaded Eichen as well. Very dangerous. Living dangerously, Pons opening up a lot.
Of course, these two teams met only a couple of weeks ago. As another player goes down in Alex Scott. These guys met only a couple of weeks ago in what was the 2v3 clash. Both teams had a backboard to lean upon if they were to lose. Pons, of course, came away as 3-2 victors in that one. They were up 2-0 with about 10 minutes to go before Jaden Zwer, of all people, scored a brace. And that may never happen again, and he can cherish that for a long time. But that memory was slightly tainted by the fact that they went and conceded a penalty up the other end. So,
controversial one as well, by all accounts.
By all accounts, by some accounts. Apart from Pons.
Which is fair.
And, of course, apart from me, because I never take sides in any of these debates, Julian, of course, you can...
Love that,
yeah. Completely impartial. But as we head back to the main point, again, I know we said that they've already played their grand final, or perhaps that was a suggestion by some, that Doonside have already played their grand final. Something to prove against Pons from just a couple of weeks ago. Can they take that burning desire into this one?
Absolutely, and I think, look, it's been a fairly even start. I actually think Pons have probably... They haven't created the most amount of chances, but they've actually looked, in build-up, the most dangerous. It's just that final third that's evading them. It's
always a low-scoring affair, at least in the 5 years that I've been watching Blacktown Premier League consistently in these grand finals. We've never really had a blowout. That's more of a PL2 Friday night thing. There's something spooky about Friday nights on BDSFA grand final eves. But these always tend to be one by one. Chance here. Couchy. That was not a great touch, but he's been able to keep going forward. He didn't want to get a yellow card, did Curry. Marcus Correa with the turn. Marcus Correa was tackled at the last moment. He might have scored two against them when Doonside won 2-0 way earlier in the season. But that was a crucial tackle. It might have been by Levy and Hubbard in tandem.
The two centre-backs are so disconnected at the moment. Ellie's going to have a look at this because the amount of times they're getting space for the either nine to actually turn, there's no way Marcus should have that space to turn like that.
Well, we spoke about the 4-4-2 on the podcast, which I know you've tuned into and watched and rewatched in preparation for this, so you know it better just as much as I do because I've watched it back so many times because it is so entertaining, and if you haven't, you should after this. But they spoke about being able to cope with Doonside's 4-4-2. It didn't matter if it was Maury Konate and his hold-up play back to goal. It didn't matter if it was Eichen and Correa with their more similar darting runs in behind. But as you said, they're not doing that right now.
100%. Basically, the two nines look like they're occupying the two centre-backs perfectly. They're actually going in between their centre-back and their closest 2 or 5, their right or left back. But they're coming across into that central area really sharply. So it's actually creating a lot of problems and movement. Just simple movement, but they're not able to cope with it at the moment, Pons.
One thing that we're ignoring, but great analysis, by the way. This is why I love to work with you, man. Is the injury concern right now. So one of the Pons boys, unclear of exactly who it is, but Dudgeon, the opposing goalkeeper, has come over to check on the well-being of, I would assume, one of the forward pack of Pons. And real concern, an in-swinging corner to be taken in a matter of moments once this is solved. That looks like Blake Skur to me. I think it is.
He's jogging it off, so it should be okay. Maybe just a cork or something.
One of the toughest cookies you'll ever come across. Blake Skur back to his feet, and one of the good guys too, which I do find myself saying about a lot of people that play in this division, but I do truly mean it. So Liam Howarth has the ability to deliver 2 match-of-the-round assists. Last week, that was a pretty poor one by his high standards, but it might work out fortuitously. It's come back to him on his left side, being closed down by Hubs, of all people. Kyle Dominici's not left-footed, but he's capable of hitting them on his left. This man is. Can he work it into an in-swinger? Dangerous-looking ball, a bit far from goal, though. Can they recycle something? I think that's Marcus Correa. Yes. Hannon, another chance, another bite at the cherry, sent away, free kick given. Pons in danger of going behind by 2 on a night where they look a bit perplexed. And they don't want to make it 4 grand final losses in a row. The 11 in a row is something to behold for their... Oh, Eichen has just taken it off. Lebby has to be really careful, but Eichen hasn't got a lot of support, and Lebby's just able to shoulder barge him out of the way. Well, it was actually quite a good recovery. He'll win the throw-in as well, but... Oh, PL1 grand final cannot be making mistakes like that.
Lebby has looked a little bit shaky in the opening, to be honest. That's the one they're basically isolating, and yeah, it's tough out there at the moment for him.
I'm not quite sure how Pons can work their way back into this game just yet, but Doonside's press has been incessant, and their hunger has been palpable. You can feel that they want to make it 2 from the last 3 years and start their own dynasty, their own era back here with this new generation of young and, well, hungry players, as we mentioned. A lot of people here tonight, a lot of people tuning in as well. A lot of people who are celebrating grand final wins last night or today. Congratulations to all of you. Thanks for tuning in as well, from whatever pub you're watching at. I've been told that Oakville only finished their celebration about 3 hours ago. Their game ended at 8:30 last night. So that's what we love to hear. Enjoy it up, lads. Just look at the space here for Coldham. I need you to drive at Alex Kwok with. He's cut inside and he's banged it into Victor Lebby and he wins another corner. Do you recall 81st minute of 2022 when Ethan Eichen was on the front post in a grand final against Pons? From that angle?
I was here watching the game and, yeah, just taking in a tremendous performance from Doonside on a whole, to be honest. They were fully deserving of the result on the night, and at the moment you'd probably have to say that they're going in the same vein.
Jordan Hannon had a chance to find the bottom corner not 5 minutes ago. What's happening here? Good ball towards the front post. It was just a couple of inches too low, but that's the kind of ball that they're looking for. Zwerb on the turn. Well, if he picked up another goal, and let alone a goal in a grand final, there would be pandemonium at this place.
I will say the delivery into the box, I know you didn't want me to go into set pieces, but it has to be said that the last 2 corners have actually been a little bit disappointing, not clearing the first man. But in saying that, they've got so much tall timber and they've got so many targets here Doonside.
In the ball coming in, that's ball under hit, but it's falling here towards Eichen!
Oh my word. What a finish.
The grand final master, Ethan Eichen, refuses to stay down, refuses to not be one of, if not the best player in the comp. He's got a mask on, a mask of invincibility, if you like. Is there a better player than this kid in the whole of this part of Western Sydney? 2 goals in a grand final. He missed half the season, and yet he's probably going to be an all-star. But Pons at 6s and 7s at the back. What kind of mask was that, Julian?
It looked like a Venom mask or a Spider-Man mask. Absolutely brilliant.
He told me he had something planned. I didn't expect him to turn into Aubameyang, although he is an Arsenal fan.
Well, yeah, exactly.
I tell you what, I know what I'm seeing right now, but I actually, frankly, don't believe it. Look at what's happening here. Look at the space. And again, an advantage could have been played, because look at Nick Cauchi free in the number 12 jersey at the bottom of your screen, ladies and gentlemen, down to the bottom right. A chance for an advantage for both teams have now come across where you thought maybe if the advantage had been played, it could have been more beneficial. I'm sorry, I see it, but I don't believe what I'm seeing.
Unbelievable. What a finish as well.
He's almost broken the crossbar. Good ball in. Hannon's threatening again. Hubbs is there. Has to be careful. Ibi Swee down on the edge of the box. No, always going wide. That time by Ryan Dominici. He's got the feeling in his boot after what he did against Marion last week.
So we're 20 minutes in.
And the grand final most likely is...
Well, I don't want to say it because I really feel like Pons haven't really given themselves a chance to even get even a toe in the game. And they've got the ability to do so. It's just about if they're actually going to start turning up and getting this ball moving like they know they can.
What is it about grand finals and Pons in the last couple of years that's just not going their way? Of course, it could just be unluckiness, but tonight I really feel like they haven't showed their best form, and there's no reason for them to not be at their best. I don't think Doonside are playing out of their skin. I just think there have been some defensive frailties that have been unbelievable.
Yep. Taking a chance when they got them as well.
Yep,
simple
exactly
as that.
Right. Sent into the crowd. And the crowd love it. A crowd invigorated by the fact that they just lost their reserve grade grand final. They do not want to be going back to Jaden Zoreb's house empty-handed tonight. Scotty Jackson steps in but sends it into no man's land. Allowed to bounce for Blake Curry. Has barely touched the ball in the last 10 minutes, but that could be said for the entire front line of Ponds. I'm almost feeling like the midfield of Ponds is barely getting on the ball. I feel like a lot of the defending is happening with the back four and not happening in midfield, which I think is somewhat of a rarity and an issue because all the pressure's coming on just 4 rather than 7 people. Not quite defending from the front either. The man leading it right now, the elevator. Doonside allowed to just toy with the ball at the moment. This place is silent.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Okay, chance brewing here. Ibi Sweetan can ignite something, but he's given the ball away. Just a tiny bit late, but not heinous at all. Couchy, good ball in. That was a purposeful miss, I'm sure, by Jordan Hannon, who's having a pretty steaming game up and down this right-hand flank. Puts Hubbard on the floor. Not very nice. Wins a free kick. Gives him a shake of the hands, but that'll sting in the morning. A reminder, of course, leave some good live chats for us. We'll respond to them as the time goes on. We'll be back pretty early to dissect the first up. We'll take a little break when the halftime whistle is blown, but leave us your thoughts, leave us some chats, and we'll certainly interact with those that are appropriate. Fardod Sanjikani, that's good work by him. The elevator did well to evade that, and now there's space for him to move into, perhaps. Nutmegs Antonio Perella, that's the first for the night. Scott Jackson beats the midfield line to find his captain, Taylor Hunter, Mr. Ponds. Ball taken off of Mr. Ponds. Picked up here by Ibi Sweetan. Skur in the 7 jersey. He's worn 9 and he's worn 7 in his time in a Ponds jersey. Blake Skur goes down. Didn't win a free kick though. Jackson in hard. Long that goes. Icon looking for a hat-trick early on. Mantaroglu has read that really, really well. Correa! No, imagine if that had gone in.
You wouldn't have heard the end of it from him as well on the judging of the podcast.
With all due respect to Ponds fans, I would have given Marcus Correa a podcast named after him had he have just scored from 40 yards out. I'm sorry, as much as I cannot believe the performance I'm seeing from both teams, I'm perplexed at how quiet it is here. We've seen drums being banged, we've seen vuvuzelas in years gone by, we've seen chants, we've seen disagreements with the referee, but it is a silent night out there. All is calm, all is quiet. Matty Hubbard being tasked with facilitating play out the back here, gives it to Sweden, who bounces it back to the stalwart 36-year-old.
The movement is non-existent from Ponds at the moment. No one's checking into the half spaces. It's completely dead, and there's enough space in midfield to actually get on the ball. Bit better from Curry.
Yeah, but can you tell me what Blake Curry's starting position is?
Exactly.
It's been taken off him. He's then fouled his man, and you could argue that was a yellow card because look at where Ethan Eichen is and look where the last defender is. And if he'd have been able to get that away, Daniel Alessi, whose goal in the opening 8 minutes of 2022 won this fixture, won this grand final, he might have been able to find an assist to his best mate, Ethan Eichen.
Probably one that gets overlooked a little bit, Alessi. I think he's an absolutely brilliant player. Probably doesn't get the credit he deserves a lot of the time.
Smacks that one in. Well, he did have a bit of a mixed start to the season where he was in and out of first and reserve grade, but once he actually found his place, my God, he's been brilliant. A clearance, but again, it's Doonside who will hold on to this. Unless he looks behind him, he sees time to just meander around, although he does muck it up slightly. Although Hannon will keep it in and task Scotty Jackson with seeing this one out, which he will. Yet the midfield looking a little disjointed.
You got 2 6s there basically just in the same pocket. They're on top of each other.
This is what they said has been working for them in recent weeks. That's the issue that's come up here. Is this because Doonside have a 2-man midfield that is... I'm unsure. I'm going to stop talking before my lack of a coaching license comes to fruition. Curry, who scored over 35 goals when he was a PL2 prospect player, including a grand final goal running down the left-hand side of this pitch, was unfortunately subbed off with injury in last year's grand final. Not on the same wavelength, these two, who should have a telepathic communication network between them. You know, and part of me does feel quite strongly for Pons because, again, I go back to the podcast, they were softly spoken and they were quite withdrawn, and they were careful with what they said, and at times when they wanted to be entertaining they were, but it wasn't anything out of this world. So they didn't talk themselves up too big. They haven't really said anything that you would sort of paint them out to be a villain, but it's just not working too right for them.
You could probably say as well, like, I mean, you read into it, maybe it's a bit like this performance at the moment. They haven't been saying too much at all, really. Whereas, you know, the loud talkers are doing the business on the pitch at the moment in terms of Doonside.
Howarth got 2 assists from this exact angle a couple of days ago. Dominici wins that out of the sky ahead of Taylor Hunter. He was brilliant, Taylor Hunter, this time last year. A big shoulder to shoulder. Taylor Hunter's a very handy gym lad himself. That's a big 50-50 to be won. Jake Taylor gets past the halfway line, sends it out wide, snuffed out there by Curry. Could this shift momentum here because Fardod Sanjikani is going to contest with Zwerb, but Zwerb had the yardage on him and he was well positioned. Well, that's gone out. Super
one-dimensional as well at the moment, Pons, in terms of just you can see where they're trying to find that outlet to Fardod every single time, but it's a lateral ball, and to be fair, Jaden has done exceptionally well again tonight so far with it.
Would you almost call it a sweeper role? Like he's kind of dropping in, they're not really too worried about offside. Is that too far-fetched?
Oh, look, I think he does drop in a little bit deep, but, you know, normally one centre back, depending on how you're set up, will always drop that a little bit deeper, and I think he's got the perfect attributes to do that role.
Almost a foul. Well, it was. Advantage played. Here comes Howarth on the far side, cuts onto his right foot. In fact, it was Dominici who puts it towards oh my word, puts it toward the near post. And he actually forced a touch off a Pons man, whether it was goalkeeper or defender. Almost on the 1/3 mark of the game. Touch off the goalkeeper or defender, would you say?
Defender. And okay. Tell you what, if it didn't, it might have crept in.
Well, it's been a long while since Kyle Dominici scored a certified banger, certainly on the match of the round. And he hasn't had his most productive year from long shots. He's been taking fewer and fewer of them, which is kind of typical of the entire world of international football these days, but it'd be something special if he was able to come up with one here. Another corner. That's a very good-looking ball. Tasks Mantaroglu was coming out for it, and he's fouled rather poorly there. Iken helps him to his feet. Two brilliant players in collision there. Goalkeepers, you have to protect them there because when you reach your arms up like that, you are exposed in some of the most important parts of your midsection. You don't want them hacked at. So, fair call, totally fair. Out of the sky, Blake Curry. Out of the sky, Blake Curry. Out of the sky, Ryan Dominici. Oh my word, Scott Jackson, Iken.
He almost did it again. Wow.
Victor Levy tries to bring this out of defence in a game that is...
That's better.
This is very good. Look at the space now. No
Much
six
better.
to stop. Standing in was Jake Taylor. Zwerb was tracking that of Fardod Sanjikani. There's been a free kick won in the process. That counter-attack was quite crisp, but it almost came from the fact that Doonside were ready to celebrate a third.
100%. So the frailties of Pons obviously still present, but that was much better from Pons in terms of their proactiveness to get forward quickly. That's what they need to do a little bit better.
Right, it would be very Pons-like to come up with something rather special here and completely change the momentum of the game. Again, I've provided you with no tactical analysis, but it's just a thought. Blake Curry from distance off his rocket of a left foot has rocketed it into the middle of the wall. That'll sting tomorrow.
Slow.
You're sitting here next to me trying to coach Pons almost.
I don't know.
You're a fan of a good contest, is what I'm gathering.
Exactly. And it's not so much that I want Pons or want Doonside to win. It's just more that, naturally I'm feeling for Ellie, who's probably very frustrated with what he's seeing at the moment.
Skur just batted off the ball by two. Tries to leave one in on his man. He's tracking really hard. That's better from Blake Skur. He might just lift the levels a little bit. But this is where danger's been forming all day. Iken takes it out of the sky. Lebby and Hubbard are able to work in tandem to take it off of him, though. Marcus Correa, his left ankle is strapped on both sides. He's got a double sprain to it, and he's just hurt himself again. But as Pons get away with another risky moment that would have let them expose at the back, they actually win a set piece from it, and maybe they can work their way out of it.
So the ball speed needs to just increase just that little bit quicker. Need to release that ball a little bit quicker, Pons. They've looked very good and very handy when they keep it simple.
I really do think they need to at least get into the sheds with this deficit maintaining. It cannot get worse. You get Ellie in there, you get a couple of other those boys to just get in there and yell at each other for 15 minutes, they might just come out firing. Here it is on the edge of the box. The elevator, handball! That was the call. We'll look back at it. You stay tuned. Blake Skur trying to keep things hot. He strikes the goal. It's dipping. Good hands, Dudgeon. Let's look at it back.
It's handball. For me, it's a handball.
The elbow is slightly out at a 90-degree angle. It's worth looking back at. It's something for Pons to talk about. It's something for Pons to be motivated by. They might have, maybe should have had an 11-yarder to get themselves back into the game. Doonside needs to just settle the nerves a little bit. It's been, oh my word, where is the right back? Where is Alex Kwok? Well, here's Ethan Eichen, Correa to aim for in the middle. He's floored Victor Leby there. Something to talk about at half-time.
Definitely. Look, from first viewing, and we'll watch it back, but it definitely looked like the elbow was raised in what, quote-unquote, an unnatural position. What is that exactly? But you've seen them given, I think is the thing.
Think of it as somebody trying to balance a cup of tea on their arm, so their arm has to be raised at a certain level that's flat. That's how the arm was. If you're just watching this while perhaps doing the dishes or something, that's how I can describe it best to you. Right, Alessi has so much time and space to think about what his next option is. And it's allowing the clock to count down as well. Dominici, as they dominate possession. Jordan Hannon, I think he might be the one who's feeling a little lucky with his hands down. It might have been Jake Taylor as well. It wasn't Zorab. Another shonky clearance. Cleared away a bit more comprehensively this time by the former Spartans and Schofield Scorpions man. Chance here because De Oliveira can play a pass like that. This is how the grand final was won and lost last year. A long ball over the top when the chips were down. Blake Curry is a real fighter for the ball. Can he show that now? He's maybe shown a bit too much of it there. Advantage wasn't played by the ref, so on we go. Glenn Zwerb's calling for a foul. He's not going to get it on Liam Howarth. Blake Skur's making a run in behind. Jordan Hannon's not tracked it. Victor Leby on the ball now. Well, they're going to get a throw in Pons. But something's got to change really quick. There's still a long time left to go in this first half. They might have had a chance just there with a potential handball. It came from a moment of madness. But I don't think they're more than a couple of minutes away from conceding another big chance. That's how open it feels. They need to get themselves on the ball just to calm their own nerves and get Doonside running a little bit. They're running the show. The energy level's probably at maybe 80% still for Doonside. Probably about 70 or 60 for that of Pons who are running around. The elevator has been given his own time and space. He lays it off to the former Player of the Year winner, Scotty Jackson, tasked with keeping that in, competing with the touchline, and Nick Cauchi, who's full of running himself. Well done, though, by Jackson. Turning is Ibi Swedan. Back here to Scotty Jackson, the former Doonside representative, a champion of champions winner with the club. From one to the other. Hubbard goes back to Mantaruglu. Past Leby, back to Matty Hubbard.
The gap in between the lines here, but they're unable to capitalise on it.
Slight press comes in from Marcus Correa, who's actually won the ball, and the ball will trickle out for a goal kick.
It's just too pedestrian at the moment. It really is. The ball speed needs to, I sound like a broken record, but it really needs to pick up from Pons.
You sound like a broken record because the same things keep happening over and over again, not just in the press, but in defence and how they're responding to it. Well, this is better. I like this a little bit more from Victor Leby, just driving out of defence. He's just made 40 yards on his own here. Blake Curry goes all the way back to where the ball started, though. But I did suggest that they keep their foot on the ball for a little bit. They cannot afford to let this get any worse. Given away, really too simple. The lines not being broken. Eichen had to be careful to keep his kneecaps there. That ball will go out in favour of Pons, I think. Now it will. 35 minutes played, less than 10 to go in this one. Doonside it will be Doonside delight in the sheds, that's for sure, if they can keep their heads. They went in last week against Marion, the champions, the reigning champions, that is, and the premiers, of course, reigning premiers and club championship holders. 2 goals to the good. Yes, they conceded early out of half-time, but they went on to win 4-1 in what was a commanding performance. I wouldn't say that this has been a better performance than that, but it's been a day that's been defined by mistakes. The elevator trying to pierce through that defensive line. Picked up here by Daniel Alessi, who twists one way than the other. A silly giveaway, uncharacteristic of his performance so far. Alessi's been really, really good tonight. IMO. Jackson did well. Skur did better. Space here. There was a switch of play onto Blake Curry. He didn't play quick enough. He'll win a free kick for his efforts, but the play was on if he could just look up a little quicker. Again, I can see you. I can hear you coaching them. They're not listening to you. Speak up.
I've got to listen to Ellie.
Ball given away.
It's just disjointed. I think if I could use one word, Ponds feel disjointed tonight. I don't know what it is, but the wavelength, you're seeing some players all being visibly frustrated with each other as well in terms of the decision making, but it's across the whole squad.
I think it's far too early to say this, but I am going to give it a shout anyway. I don't think, at least going into the sheds coming out for the second half, it could be much worse than this. So it can only get better from here, I'm hoping. At what point will it get better, though? Here is Blake Skur. He's someone who can do it all on his own. He's got a player in his way, though. It might fall kindly to Fardod Sanjakani on the follow-up. Zwereb clears. Ponds with the best chance of the game. But at least for themselves. Levy being closed down back all the way to Mantaruglu. And the heart rate just increased. Matt Dudgeon, that's why you're in first grade.
Great save. Brilliant save. Reactionary. But I tell you what, that is the danger with Ponds. I mean, they can, on a dime, just turn nothing into something.
And you are blessed with pacey players like that, technical marvels like this guy here, Sammy De Oliveira. You can achieve anything. Zwereb has been pretty tight at the back, though. Hannon gets it under control. Really nice touch to evade Scotty Jackson. Couchy just sends it away. Hubs misses it. Icons threatening. Mantaruglu's there. He'll get there first. That is a monster punt up the line. A big header to win there for Jake Taylor, who was so keen, as you might have heard on the podcast, to get out here and just win tonight. Howarth using his pace, actually beaten to it for once, and it might be the only time we ever get to say that because Alex Kwok was the man closing him down. Well done by the Kwok.
Probably the best left and right back in the competition going head-to-head because of Kwok's proactiveness to get forward. So that's a really good battle we didn't get to mention pre-game, but I'm looking forward to seeing that in the next half as well.
Feasibly, we could be looking forward to seeing that for the next 10 years, but I would suggest to both of them they should go and play at a higher level because they are so good. Forward comes Dominici, centre pass here to Marcus Correa. Something's brewing here. That's a very weighted pass. Just about going to be kept in by Nick Couchy, competing with Caelan Thompson on the sideline too. Can he get past Scotty Jackson? He's got past him, but not Hubbard, though, stepping in firm.
Lovely little Megs there from Couchy as well.
A corner. 39th minute. Ponds down 2 to that of Doonside. Doonside in no rush to take this whatsoever. Apologies for the screaming you're hearing in the background. Hopefully everyone's okay. Look at Ellie on the sideline, by the way, just chatting away to Karim Morses. This ball comes in very deep to the back stick, although who is free? Nick Couchy!
Free header.
Well, if the third-gen Maltese man had scored a header in this grand final, it would have been a great day for him. Probably not scored too many in his time.
Much better.
Look at how they're coming away here. Fardod Sanjakani, Blake Curry competing with arguably the only player that can keep up with the likes of Ponds' front three. Clear free kick to be given there. And just like that, they could have pressed and boxed him in and created all the issues in the world. Is that Taylor Hunter that's arguing?
Jeez.
Wow.
You know what, though? Taylor's probably got a point there because I actually don't think it was a foul. I think it was a really good challenge. But in saying that, again, better from Ponds. Every time they've looked dangerous is because they've gone very quickly. They've hit Doonside on the counter and tried to go quickly. When they've done that, they've actually looked dangerous. They need to keep going to that.
The only issue I have is that a lot of these counter-attack opportunities are coming from the fact that Doonside are looking for a third goal. If Doonside decide to sit back even just by 10 yards,
100%.
those chances aren't going to open up.
Exactly.
So you're inviting pressure to create pressure up the other end. It's a risky game, but maybe one they have to try and suck Doonside into. Go on, Skur. Open this game up, son.
See, that's not a foul.
No,
he stepped on the ball.
That's not a foul at all, unfortunately.
He was unsighted there, to be fair, and like he couldn't really see that, but it wasn't a foul.
No, it wasn't.
But that evens it up.
It looked like it. He probably had his heart in his throat for a moment, because tripping over the ball is not a fun thing to do when you're not expecting to. Catches you rather quite by surprise. But on 41 minutes now, a chance from a set piece that maybe shouldn't have been a set piece is about to potentially get them back into the game under hit. They weren't really ready for that. I'm not sure why it was taken so early. Pons working their way into this a little bit. This is better from them. We want to see more of this. Right. We know how good he is from these long throws. That's looking very dangerous. Scotty Jackson's up there off the top of the crossbar, and he's actually forced a corner kick as well. Right, something is certainly brewing in the Pons technical area here. I'm not sure if they've instructed them to do something different, but we saw them incessantly talking on the sideline. They must have come up with something. Blake Skur has just inspired something of a late first half fight back here. Can they find a goal that would open this game right up? An in-swinger to be delivered in by Ibrahim Swedan. Very good looking ball, been cleared to the back post. Sanjakani turns Deliveroo. It's been cleared now by Couchy up into the sky, heading for the touchline. Icon just about got it under control. Fortuitously gets it back, competing here with Scotty Jackson and De Oliveira. De Oliveira should try and look to win a free kick here. Don't turn into danger. He somehow got away with it. That's brilliant. Now he goes down and wins the free kick. Look, I don't know how he's done that, but that's why he's in the team. Can you explain how he's just kept the ball there?
I've no idea. I don't think he could tell you, to be fair.
Are you also noticing a certain number 9 in Doonside Maroon down?
I think when he took that first touch there, he's got a bit of a sore ankle at the moment. I was talking to him before the game, Ethan. It's still giving him a little bit of trouble, so probably the worst nightmare there for Glenn Zerb.
Yeah, no, he's down and staying down. In saying that, he's probably very aware of where we are in terms of the clock right now. By the way, a massive tackle went in from Alex Kwok on Kyle Dominici. A shake of the hands between the two. Kyle's a guy who respects someone who can match his intensity. But real concern for one of their two strikers with ankle injuries.
Especially because he's probably looked obviously the most clinical. That goes without saying tonight. But he's one that if he gets a chance again, you don't see him missing getting his opportunity to get a hat-trick in a grand final.
Ethan Icon is 6 from 6 in grand finals he's played in. He's won player of the match in 5 of them. He's on course to making that 7 from 7 and winning player of the match in 6 of them. In saying that, I still think Daniel Leslie's had a great game.
He has, yeah. Unless he's been what's just kept everything going, kept everything moving. I think from a football purist, you'd go Alessi, but in terms of just pure influence on a game, you know, man for the big occasion, Icon, always there, always turns up.
Pons have gone into a huddle. Icon's okay, but he might just play till half-time and maybe come off. In saying that, he's got 6 months to recover. He's probably not going to be an all-star this year because the votes have not been kind because he was away for half the season almost. Yeah. But he can certainly afford to play. He does stay on his feet for work quite a lot.
I think whoever gets the BDSFA Coach of the Year will take him. You have to take him, don't you? I mean, regardless, he's been brilliant when he has been here.
Back in focus on the play in front of us. We are 30 seconds from the end of the first 45. How much time would you be adding? Oh, up for me, it's not more than 2 minutes. Added on time, your prediction?
I think probably 2 minutes as well, mate. It hasn't been. It's flowed pretty well. A couple stoppages here and there for some injuries, but it's been pretty much.
I like the idea to try and feed that through with a driven pass. There's a man in Liam Howarth now out of position, by the way, as he tussles here.
That's definitely a foul. Tell you what, yeah, ticket, yeah, definitely.
Like I said, they definitely want to get to half-time with the 2-goal lead intact. They're doing everything they can to keep that right now. They do not want to allow Pons back into this game in any way. But now the right back, who take on Skur, and at one point he'll probably have to take on Curry as well, as he did there with the swap of the wings, is now cautioned for the rest of this game.
You're right in saying, Mark, I think Pons really have started to grow a little bit more into the game the last 5 or 10. Still not their sparkling best, but 2-0 is a very dangerous scoreline as well. So Doonside still have to be on their game.
Scotty Jackson standing over this alongside 2022 Player of the Year Blake Skur.
It's one way to make up for the mistake in the game.
Skur looks to be taking this one. He does. Power drives it into the floor of Blacktown Football Park, field one, and it's a chance that goes away from Pons once again. Victor Levy living a little dangerously as he didn't leave it for his goalkeeper, who was perplexed by that, and now he's going to see this go all the way out, and he sent it into the next millennium.
Aiden just visibly frustrated there. He's obviously called for it, just judging from his reaction. So just goes to the comment of that disjointedness that we've seen Pons this half for the majority of it.
One by Kwok in the air. Trying to do it all himself, Taylor Hunter, I do believe now, surging through. Just didn't deliver the ball. Correa, did he come back from an offside position? Supposedly not, as Victor Levy, again, sends it into next week. Zverev almost concussed himself last week with a header out of Jake Bickford's hands and onto his foot. So it looks to see, and good to see him doing well. Cuts back in as Nick Couch on his near side touchline. Sends it into the middle to absolutely no one. Look at the space. Well, it won't matter because barely any added on time was needed. Just about a minute and a half there. Fantastic first half for Doonside. Not necessarily a fantastic first half by Doonside, I would necessarily say. But I think it's more about not what Doonside have done well. It's about what Pons, unfortunately for you viewers, have done wrong.
Absolutely. I think they've been the makers of their own demise at the moment, Pons. And really, really important halftime chat here for Ellie. Can he turn it around? Can they turn it around?
We're going to be back in about 10 minutes. We'll spend about 5 minutes, 10 minutes or so previewing and chatting between ourselves about what we're going to present to you as a way back into this game for Pons. We will work tirelessly over these next couple of moments to do so. Make sure you don't go anywhere. Keep your sound on because once we get back, we'll be discussing it. But it's Ethan Eichen who has, of course Ethan Eichen, who has Doonside in a 2-goal lead in the 2024 Grand Final. Referees have called the players out. Spectators making their way from the field, enjoying what is a beautiful spectacle here at Blacktown Football Park 2024 Grand Final Series, this being the occasion. Julian, we've made 3 key points to talk about, 2 for Ponds, 1 for Doonside. Movement off the ball has not been good enough, in your opinion, in my opinion, probably most people's opinion watching along right now. Talk to me about what you're noticing about the Sixers and how they could be doing better and how they could be getting on the ball more.
I just think that they're quite simply too flat and sitting almost on top of the centre-backs. A lot of the time they're actually saying that sitting there waiting for the ball, asking for the ball, but they're not actually moving into space to create that. They need to start that a little bit higher and then drop into that space to actually create a bit of separation between them and the centre mids. The
whole team are moving the ball forward. Now, I've personally thought that it's because they're getting these chances on the counter-attack when Doonside are pushing numbers forward to try and find that third goal and really almost seal this off completely before we even get close to the end. But that is where they're finding their best chances. So how do you navigate that with 45 minutes left to go in the season?
It's difficult because, like you said, I think if Doonside elect to sort of sit back and be a little bit more reserved, then, you know, they might not get the chances. The one thing I will say, just noticing and cut away to that just here, is that Ethan's looking a little bit comfortable, and I don't know, if I was Glenn, I'd be like, all right, save the celebrations till after the game. They were, you know, fist pumping, and yeah, I don't know. They need to be careful.
Look, if I were Ponds as well, I'd be looking at that saying, my word, we need to find a way back into this game and shut these guys up, to be perfectly frank.
Absolutely.
Fardod Sanjakani will kick us back off, and let's see if he can kick them into some momentum. We've also identified, of course, that Dunia have looked fairly comfortable. They haven't really had to leave, I'd say, probably third gear if you're in a 5-speed. So, I'm not sure if they'll be needed to go any higher, but they're looking pretty comfortable and not looking too worse for weather either. So, no changes, it seems, from either side heading into the second half. Doonside, 45 minutes for another 2-0 win over their emerging rivals as it goes all the way back to Mantaruglu. Brought to you by Julian Bombach, the coach of Quaker Seal Juniors, and of course, esteemed 2IC to me. And of course, Mark DePoli, who answers only to Julian next to me. Put into touch. First involvement for the crowd in this second half. Doonside feeling good. I still have no idea why that bin is there. As Alex Kwok, at least we'll get to see the Kwok up close and personal in this second half. Blake Skur trying to use his backside to keep hold of the ball. I think actually that last touch came off him, but he might just take the throw in and on we go. Fardod Sanjakani is going to have to turn into the facilitator here. Space for the bicycle kick, my word! Taylor Hunter, who's a man cautioned right now, had nearly just half the deficit with what would have been one of the most spectacular goals you're ever likely to see.
I think probably the most spectacular. The most spectacular if he had pulled that off.
He got the angle right, but it did just flash off, I imagine, the side of one of his boots. Taylor Hunter is a man, I wouldn't say a man possessed just yet, but he's halfway to at least being a man who's going to enter a different dimension in this second half. He looks really motivated to go. Of all people to get a yellow card, by the way, for a suggestion to the referee. How interesting.
I think he would have been paying pretty big odds to get that as well. One of the quote-unquote BDSFA nice guys.
It's been a massive hit put on Scott Jackson, by the way, by Nick Couchy. They've had a good battle, these two. A shake of the hands without a lock of the eyes. Not very romantic, but at least it was sportsmanlike. Goal difference very similar between these two as they headed into the end of the regular season. Of course, Doonside 2 better when it comes to goals conceded. Ponds, well, actually, despite their front line being so potent, by all accounts, actually one behind Doonside as well. And Doonside, despite not finishing first, finished, you could say, in a lot of ways, better than Ponds. 4 points clear at the end of the day as well. And right now we're seeing more than a bit of a small gap between them. But Sammy De Oliveira is trying to be the one who turns that around. Good touch. That's better by Hunter, but Blake Curry's been a bit too slow on the ball. Out wide this goes. That's Fardod again, I do believe. Put across the face of goal. Where will this bounce to? In the end, it's the underside of the foot of Matt Dudgeon, which has just steered that ball out for a corner. This is better by Ponds. Up comes Levy, up comes Jackson. Back stays Matty Hubbard only.
Much, much better from Ponds. Much, much better. Ball speed better. Movement off the ball better. They've come out to play this half.
In swinging corner, about to be delivered. That's gone real high. Lebby is there! Lebby scored!
We're on.
Well, he's just created the ultimate comeback story for himself. A difficult first half. He's just lit a fire in the grand final and dragged Pons within one. Game on, Julian, game on.
We're on here. Absolutely brilliant time to get this goal back for Pons, and probably a little bit of an unlikely source, but one of the tallest timbers on the field, so get a good delivery into the box. He is dangerous, so 2-1.
It's a day dominated by former St. Pat's men. 2 for Icon, now 1 for Victor Lebby. Here we are, within one. This is exactly what happened last week, though, for Doonside against Marion, the champions of 2023. They did consider goal in the opening moments of the second half. This feels different, though. Pons have taken it up a gear. The fans are quite loud. They need to really put their foot on the ball and just see this momentum boost out. Of course, did go on to win that one 4-1, but Pons have a lot more to play for right now. A lot's on the line, given away uncharacteristically. Great slide in, though. Fairly clean. On we go. Icon sends that wide. Scotty Jackson easily done. Play's now going to stop for the injury issue as Kyle Dominici checks here on Ibi Sweden, I do believe. Calls from the sideline that was worthy of a card. No VAR unless they take a little trudge up this hill.
I think it was just a really, really solid challenge.
Hard but fair.
Yeah,
Kyle Dominici only does hard but fair. I don't think that man has ever intentionally committed a foul in his life. It would only be because he's steam training in one direction and can't change in time that he gives away a foul.
Just got there as quick as he could.
Indeed he did. Pons already looking better performance-wise. Uncharacteristic giveaway. Pressure's on here. Decent press, though, by Blake Curry, and there was a good step away from Jordan Hannon. Pressure being put on here. Oh, geez, Jake Taylor, that is so, so brave. That's twice he's got away with that little Travella pass, hasn't he?
Even the press from Pons is much better in this half as well. A lot more proactive in that area.
It's about sustaining it, though, isn't it? It's not. This can't be a blip. This needs to be what the rest of the grand final is like for them if they're to work their way back into this one. That's bouncing awkwardly, but Hums is uber prepared for that one. The elevator will just square it to his midfield partner, who goes back to Pons' sole goal scorer on the night. Wouldn't have been high up on the odds, but he's picked up one, the number 90, when it was pretty much needed most. Given away. Jake Taylor's got it under control. Sanjikani tried to leave one in on him. Who's going to get this ball first? Really important. This won by Hubs, the foot race. Squared out wide by Scott Jackson to the opposing fullback on the other side of Pons' defence. The elevator crosses the halfway line. Like we said, no subs made at halftime. They're going to stick with the team that started the game. The elevator. There's a space for a switch. They tried to switch it with a cross into the box. That's decently taken out of the sky by Blake Skur. Stepovers. Still back to goal, though. Has to beat Dominici and Howarth, 2 All-Stars combining in defence. And then floored by Jake Taylor. There was an absolutely brilliant photo from the 2022 Grand Final where Jake Taylor put one in with a sliding challenge on Blake Skirt. We've just seen the reincarnation 2 years later. Here comes a typical Skirt throw, and it's over 1! Is that going to go in? No! I don't even think it would have counted. I don't think it touched anybody. If that was allowed, if that had gone in, it wouldn't have counted. Which would have been, to those who don't know the rules, 100% completely controversial and mind-boggling. But Doonside now looking the ones that are hitting the panic buttons.
A little bit shell-shocked in this half after that goal. Just need to get back to status quo, get their foot on the ball. Difficult here for Doonside to come back in it. Once you give Pons a sniff, they'll hang around.
Glenn did say that if they took a 2-goal cushion, which I actually asked him about, that they would not sit back and rest on their laurels, that they would continue pushing forward and attacking. Tough to maintain that when the deficit is halved, as it has been, with so long left to go in this game, with so much on the line.
You'd probably have to say that Glenn stuck to his word there, because they did take the 2-0 lead so early in the first half, and they did look to be on the front foot and try to get that third and kill the game off, but just wasn't to be, and now it's in the balance.
It's Couchy with the injury struggles right now. He's testing something to do with the right leg, the underside of his right leg, hamstring perhaps, or calf, helped to his feet by Mr. 11 in a row. Habdini, they call him. Skur, really well
much
done. This
better.
is much crisper. And sent away by Jake Taylor, who's having a good game himself, actually. Tell you what, we haven't seen enough of Fardod Sanjikani just yet.
Absolutely. It's been a bit difficult for him to get into the game, but it's probably because of Pond's frailties in the first half and evidence on this second. They probably get a little bit more into the game.
Ethan Icon's playing as a right winger right now. And this is what happened in the second half of last week against Marion. Couchy's now playing as the sort of second striker behind Marcus Correa. Correa still moving pretty freely as Blake Skur drops into receive. Here's Ibi Sweden, who's worked off any of those ankle issues as well. Gives it back to the number 7. The 6 finds the 7 as the 7 cuts inside. Skur onto his left with the right foot finds Sweden again. Now finds Alex Kwok, who's got past 1. Will he beat the touchline or the goal line? The answer is no. Takes out the corner flag as well, which hits him back in retaliation. And Doonside have survived another slight scare. The frightening part, if you're a Doonside fan, wherever you're watching from around the world, is how long is left in this game. There's a long time to defend your lead. Already been 9 minutes into the second half, though. Pond's goal scorer here, Victor Levy on the ball.
Oh, that's a loose ball.
It's a very loose ball. He is
lucky.
Rather lucky. Back by Fardod Sanjikani. Dropping in with his former Norwest teammates to receive. At what point do one of these two teams go to their bench? Yes, in fact, it was a good ball to switch play. Ibi Sweden sends that forward. This will cause some mayhem at the back. Look at where it's bouncing. Threatening is Taylor Hunter. He'd love a goal tonight. Icon also becomes the first ever goal scorer to do so on 2 occasions across multiple grand finals since live streams began. Wouldn't be the first 2-time goal scorer, but the first since the live streams began. It's a feat for him to hold on to. He's also now become, since live streams began, the most brilliant goal scorer with 3 to his name now. An assist if you'd like to throw in a GA contribution too. Maybe Kwok, Ponds with the ball at their feet for the first time in what feels like 55 minutes. Fardod Sanjikani's just sent it into the car park. In fact, it has gone into the car park.
Wrong decision there for Fardod. Don't say that very often, but he was afforded the space to actually just face up and turn the goal, so very dangerous to do that to such a player with that quality.
Players warming up. That might be Tek Meskele or Mori Konate. In fact, I do believe it would be the big striker taking off one of the 2 frontline boys, and it probably will be Marcus. I would imagine double injured compared to Icon's single injury. What's the delay here? We'll take the ball back. I've had a spectator injure his shoulder by throwing the ball back into play. Hopefully he's got that private health insurance ready to go. Physio on Monday, lads. Leby's almost given it away. Has a chance to redeem himself here. Does. Good show of core strength there by Kwok. Turning Hunter. Finding Sanjikani. Sammy De Oliveira just lays it off flat to his captain, who'll deliver in, capable of a grand final moment. Skewed clearance, missed clearance, but enough to actually render a goal kick.
He'll say he meant it.
Of course he will. You know, what's funny is that we're actually bordering on the 60th minute, so there's already been nearly 15 played in this second period of play.
It's gone extremely quick, hasn't it?
It has. Leby's goal over 10 minutes ago, so Doonside have actually weathered the storm. They always say once they get 1 back, quickly likely to get 2. The elevator, slightly loose touch. Recenters himself and delivers out wide, asking a lot of the 2022 Player of the Year, though. Asking a lot here of Alessi, but he's composed enough on his left side to steer that back to the throw-in taker, who then clips that forward towards Aiken, who completely misjudged that one. That was a bit of a humorous moment. Living very dangerously.
Jeez, yep. Living dangerously.
Levy also living dangerously here too. Correa closes him down at pace too.
He's kept
Correa's got around him. Squared pass. Hubbs read it really well. That's Matty Hubbard for you. Well positioned. But Pons just showed a flash of their first half performance right there. Jackson, that's actually worked out really well towards Fardod Sanjikani, who slipped in one of the dismal areas of this pitch. Down under the challenge. Went Jordan Hannon, but he did enough to win the ball. Long throw by Scotty Jackson. Looks like Blake Curry's occupying that left-hand side. Chance here, Marcus Correa to Aiken.
Ball.
What's a ball that is? Might just hang up poorly. Where might that fall to? I think it's going wide. Is there cause for a penalty?
I'll tell you what,
though?
I think it should be. I honestly believe it should be. The ball's nowhere near him.
Aidan Mansaruku's actually stood his ground. I'll let you watch this back here. I've just had a look at it. Ball is played brilliantly by Marcus Correa.
Great ball in
That's
behind.
a fantastic ball from inside his own half. It doesn't bounce kindly initially, but watch Aidan. Stands his ground, doesn't compete for the ball. It's a big call to not make.
Yeah.
But you are allowed to compete for the ball, and then he just
100%.
stood still.
It looked like on the first viewing that Hubbard had actually made the challenge, and that's probably what I would have been going to in terms of that call for the pen. But considering that the keeper, like you said, Mark, has just stood his ground, it's probably the correct decision there. Well adjudged.
Ethan Aiken on for a hat-trick. The game still very much in the balance towards the back stick. Better by Mansaroglu. There is Cauchi. There is Scott Jackson. Let's come out here to Kyle Dominici. Kyle Dominici's almost taken the head off his own teammates, but it might actually launch a counter-attack. Fardod Sanjikani trying to burst down for pace with Jake Taylor. Sends him into a spin, asking for the free kick. We'll just get a throw-in against him. Pons looking to take quickly, and the momentum has just sort of dropped out of the play. With that moment there, Pons will just slow things down. Turned into a spinning top there, Jake Taylor, unfortunately. He's been in the wars tonight. Lebby, slightly loose touch. Keeps it under wraps, though, just about. Asking a lot of. Asking too much of. Aiken's hurt. Aiken's hurt.
I think he might be the one that comes off instead of Marcus, to be honest.
You're exactly right. He would not want to leave with the hat-trick still on the balance, though. Now his head hurts and his ankle hurts. Long throw-in taken. Dudgeon doesn't come for this one. Flicked on by Scotty Jackson. Picked out of the sky. No players really forward besides Aiken. So they're not going to be able to play this quickly with Scotty Jackson, the left back, up playing as a striker. In comes the press into that space where Scotty Jackson could be. Does that hold up though? No. Into the Dooney technical area. Glenn Zerb kindly and with a lot of sportsmanship in mind gives that straight to one of the Pons boys instead of delaying things. Love to see that. Past the halfway line now. Blake Curry receives. Lays it off here to Scotty Jackson. Beaten to it after Cauchi had the yardage on him and sent away comprehensively. There's been a tussle off the ball there, which Correa has won over Sweden. Kyle Dominici, it's taken off him by Ryan Dominici. Haven't really seen Ryan too much on the ball, but his work has been quiet and good. Chance here, Kwok sliding in, should have gone down, but it's instead put across the face. He should have gone down, he would have had a free kick. He would have had a yellow card against the right back.
He's lucky there, Alex. Very lucky boy, because that definitely would have stopped the momentum of that attack, and Liam, just being the honest player that he is, perhaps too honest if you're depending on who the coach is.
One of the only All-Stars in the PL1 history to ever win All-Star eligibility by making the Team of the Year as a 21's eligible player. Now 22, still so young, still so much promise to show. Alex Kwok will be right up there with the votes too, I can imagine.
Absolutely. He'd have to be.
Fardod Sanjikani leads the way for the individual votes, but we'll see how it goes positionally towards the end of the year. Ball delivered in towards the back six. Similar to last time! Aiken was there, should have had a hat-trick.
Should have definitely had a hat-trick. I think Ethan will be a little bit upset with himself not to keep that on target. Well hung up to the back post there.
Aiken's night. Yep. We'll finish on that note. Maury Konate is about to be tasked with keeping his back to goal, putting his hamstrings and quads to work, and probably tasked with getting kicked and slowing things down. He's about to come in and cause some chaos. The first sub of the day is one that sees Ethan Eichen go off. That might actually hurt his eligibility to win Player of the Match. Hard to look past his 2 goals, one of which might be the winner. What a performance, Ethan Eichen.
Brilliant. You know what you're going to get. I think you used the word inevitable, and he is inevitable. It's the man for the big occasion.
Underway we are again. Marcus Correa moving freely. I thought it might have been him that went off. Maury Konate straight into it. Picked up 2 goals against Ponds when they won 4-2 over them in the second meeting of the season. And the final meeting of the regular season that was. So he knows how to score against this lot. Came on and played alongside Ethan Eichen when Ethan Eichen was played as a winger when these 2 sides first met at Glendenning Reserve. Really had some great battles with Matty Hubbard that day. And Nathaniel Atchinson, who's currently, I believe, in Spain, watching Barcelona games. That's gone all the way back from Levy to Mansuroglu. How's your touch, Mansuroglu? That's well done from the Champion of Champions under 21s winner.
Touch, Alessi.
Alessi's brilliant. Swiveling around, plays it short and square. From one Italian boy in Doonside Maroon to another. Back it goes to Daniel Alessi. Has really, speaking of crescendoed seasons, has really crescendoed into this one. Dominici goes for the petite dink. Alessi fortuitously comes back to look at the space for Maury Konate. Have a hit, son! Over.
That would have been a nice introduction to the game, wouldn't it? He's looked lively since he's come on. It's only probably been about 2 minutes, but he's pressed, just that reinvigoration in the press for Doonside with him maybe a little bit better. Eichen obviously a little bit worse for wear with that ankle, and yeah, new lease of life for that front 2.
25 minutes left to go in this one. Plenty of time for things still to change. And underway we are again. Part of me gets nervous when Ponds plays out the back like this, just from what we saw in the first half. Sanjikani's the one who drops in this time. The elevator is good at that. Space to work into here. No real midfield line, at least up high, from Doonside. That's been sent out wide. Dominici running in that steam line, straight line, as he loves to. It's too much of even him. Someone's got a drum here. It's taken them 65 minutes to find it.
Don't know which side it's for, though.
They must have been finding a parking spot. Alessi touch off his cheekbone there. Given to no one in a similar jersey. Sweden, that's really nicely done. Kwok was urged to pass it in with the cross. Maury Konate, his first foul is going to render a yellow card.
I don't know.
Have a look here.
One. I think it was just more unfortunate.
The sound was rather... The sound that it made, I think, was what convinced him. It was less of a clip and more of a kick right into the shin pad, which makes a rather grand sound. A typical click. I think someone's actually learning how to play the drum for the first time here tonight. Not much rehearsal went into this. Not quite the ultras that you'd expect on a big occasion like this one. It's gone towards Blake Curry. Where's the flares? Unfortunately, it was banned.
We do not condone flares.
No. We saw what happened to the Wanderers NPL side a couple of match of the rounds ago, up on the right-hand side of your screen. Had enough drama for one day. Out of the sky. Dudgeon kicked that way too high rather than out. Doonside's got time to recycle this, though. Looking a little confused with what to do with it once they have it. Kwok, well done.
Play it, Skur. Yeah, lovely play.
Chance here for Fardod Sanjikani. He's quick. Is he quicker than Dudgeon? The ball is quicker than both. Better, though. It's just increasingly getting better in this game.
It's lovely interplay when they are able to get into that half space, final third, and just play that little 1-2 around. That's where Fardod's going to be released and actually be dangerous. So you're right. It is better. I just need to see more of it more consistently because, we've got, 23 minutes or so?
Konate. Is he the first player cautioned in this game? No, Jordan Hannon was as well, forgive me. Cauchi cuts back inside. Cauchi pile drives it, but
And Taylor Hunter as well in the first half.
Of course, Taylor Hunter, yes. This grand final, especially when it includes Pons, tends to get more yellow cards as the night continues on and we get closer to the final whistle of the match. Good work there. Good hustle by Ryan Dominici. The match winner last week. Howarth hits the deck. Wants to get up and continue that run. Maury Konate has space. Looks very similar to Ed Air in the 2016 Euro final there. I thought he was going to snap one into the bottom left-hand corner. Things have slowed down a little bit. Kyle Dominici. Really awkward attempt at a save.
Probably should have done a little bit better there, Aiden. I don't think you'll be too happy with that, conceding a corner.
He is, in fact, the neighbour of Jaden Zwereb, the Doonside captain. There's nothing more to that. That's all I had to say.
I'm sure there'll be an awkward... One house will be very silent, one house will be very loud tonight.
Hey, how was your day? Yeah, great, thanks. Right, back to the football. To deliver in another corner. That's a good-looking ball. That was a really, really good ball. It was hit with such ferocity that Mantaruglu in goal just doesn't have time to come out to it because he's also boxed in by a bunch of players. It's such a special delivery, that one, and it deserved someone to get something on it. This goes out wide towards Blake Curry, but Jordan Hannon's brave. Read it the whole way onto his forehead. Maury Konate has to be really careful, has to be really careful, has to be really careful. Arm across the face, has to be very, very careful.
Next one, he could be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, maybe the occasion's just raised his excitement a little too high. The first was a silly foul. That one, a little more heinous. You don't want to make another one in such quick succession as well. At least spread it out over a half or two. Well done by Ryan Dominici. Well done, and no one falls into the fence, which is a good thing. Seen it happen before. Skur. Scotty Jackson did predict a Skur 90th minute winner. They'll need at least one more goal before he's eligible of doing that. In saying that, there's now 20 minutes left to go. I've almost lost the ball. It's gone that deep into space. Scotty Jackson wins that off his head. Sent away. Sweden, bit of ping pong here. That's right. Scotty Jackson delivers low and flat. Chance to break here. Real chance to break here. Jaden Zwereb, Maury Konate haphazardly gets it under control. Something's brewing here. Zwereb's in there. Zwereb's still there. Can he turn? Can he turn and score against them again? Zwereb goes down. Fairly so was the challenge. That one wasn't. Free kick Pons.
Great foul. Great tactical foul there.
Marcus Correa is a guy who has played amateur/semi-professional level football in Germany. He's a guy who knows to play on any surface, on any day, against some very, very good players. Smart foul there. Underrated IQ. Sent away, Mantaruglu. One in the air by Zwereb, who probably isn't even sweating yet. Konate. The elevator hit the deck. In fact, it was Ibi Sweden. Look at this. Kyle Dominici had an okay game today. Can he stand up his oppressor? Gets past him. Using his strength now. Kyle Dominici. Ooh, it's going out for a throw-in almost. Sometimes he does that.
That's a fine. That's a fine.
I'm sure they won't matter. Hey, out of interest, who was the, well, not who, but what was the highest fine total for this season out at Quakers Juniors?
I think there was a few strikers that were up there. In terms of their missed sitters, we have a rule. If it clears the back fence, it's a $20 fine. So
$20?
If it clears the back fence, I don't know what you're doing. Not playing at the Prems level, that's for sure. Goes without saying, the end-of-season trip is a very nice one, considering.
Yeah, less said about that on the BDSFA live stream, the better.
Yeah, fair play.
As clock crosses the halfway line. Although, to be fair, the goalkeeper for Glenwood yesterday, Ronan Dodds, one of the first things I said about him was that he was an extra in a movie with Sydney Sweeney. So we do talk about some strange stuff on here.
Wow.
That's what I said.
There you go.
Right. 17 minutes left to go. Skur dries his hands. Something could be on here. Ball towards the front post. Lebby is there. This is where I think Pons can be really, really dangerous because they do have some height to flick it on, and we saw that it almost caused chaos just after the deficit halfer was notched. Sweden will trudge across. He always has a moment in the grand final in him. Not much really in the way of added time yet, I don't think either. So 15 to go flat, I would suggest. Look at the man on the edge of the box, De Oliveira. Might it come to him? Oh, horrible corner.
Jeez. Slide him off the hook.
At what point do Pons go to the bench? To be honest, I think this is the best 11 that they have available to them. So a change that would be made is one that would probably frustrate any of the players who are taken off. Certainly some stalwarts out there who won't want to come off in the grand final. Cauchy gave it away though. Lebby living a little dangerously. De Oliveira is one who can get it under control well. Played against Cole and Ryan Dominici, Daniel Alessi as well in years gone by as they all grew up. They were all within about 3 or 4 years of each other. Lebby again up against Konate. There's Liam Howarth. Again, probably the left back of the year.
Oh, that's a
free kick for Pons. Oh, there's a left back out of position.
Oh,
Marcus Correa covering him. A silly giveaway by Pons. There's Correa, the left back. Overclocked like it did Icon 20 minutes ago. Given away, Correa helping change hands again.
Great ball.
That's a serious ping. That's a real good ping. Scotty Jackson has to stand up here up against Cauchy. Hannon put too much oomph behind that goal kick. Tell you what, it's not been the greatest quality of football shown in this grand final, but this second half has been a lot more entertaining for very different reasons. At least both teams have shown a lot more fight. Pons winning the second half, if you like, 1-0. This game, of course, still in the hands of Doonside, thanks to Mr. Ethan Icon.
They have been better this half. It's just they haven't been good enough still. There's still been moments where they've really let themselves down, where they could get in behind.
So many times in recent years, the grand final has been decided by a scoreline of 2-1. Right now, it's this year, last year, and on 3 years ago as well, it did too. When these two met in 2022, scoreline was 2-0. It is always close. At least in the recent years, it's been very, very close when it comes to the big day. One set of fans counting down the minutes to explode onto the pitch. That's been sent away, I think, by Jake Taylor, whose forehead has been tested in this one. Another long throw-in to come basically from the corner flag. There's also a bit of wind, as you might be able to tell, that will be going against the throw-in taker here, but it will be sending it towards goal slightly. Something could be brewing here. Ball in, cleared initially. Maury Konate has to be careful. He's somehow got his body in the way. Here comes the Roadrunner. Away he goes. Sweden tried to slow him down. Carl Dominici, upended by Hubbard. The most obvious yellow of all time. Look at the Dooney boys protest that one. Carl Dominici has just changed the momentum of this game and brought the crowd into it single-footedly, if you like.
Hubbard's probably a great tactical foul, to be honest, to pick up that yellow, because if he was going towards goal there, I think he could have seen red. It would have been a different colour to that card that he did receive. But
Sweden so devious, wasn't he, in that moment, trying to slow him down? But it is so brilliant.
No intent for the ball whatsoever, but he just couldn't get there. He couldn't get there. He's too quick.
He is quick when he gets going. Not got the acceleration, I would say, but geez, when a man who can squat for 16 reps, 160 kilos without breaking a sweat and while wearing long pants gets on a run, it's a very high top speed he achieves. Chance here, Jordan Hannon scored against Tigers from the set piece, right into the midriff. It hit the hand, but it was hand. That was by the side of Ibi.
Oh, hello.
Chance here. Dudgeon should read it all the way. Well done. Frustration a little bit shown by Fardod Sanjakani, just trying to jump and give Dudgeon a bit of a bear hug there because he's barely been able to see the ball through no fault of his own. Lebby coming out of defence on his own. 12 minutes left to go with a couple of seconds to add on. Good stuff there by Maury Konate. Was a reserve-grade worker centre-back no more than 12 months ago. In fact, part of the reserve-grade winning side. That looks to me like Tech Meskele, who's going to be coming on. Off goes Marcus Correa. A fantastic season for you, young man. You really established yourself this year. 7 goals last year, 22 this year. And another decent performance tonight, including some really, really integral defensive work in the last couple of moments too. Made a couple of yards, it seems. In fact, that might be... Well, to me and to my memory, the 22 jersey belonged to Tech Meskele last week, but it might in fact be Franklin Colby because he is an attacker and he has a lot of pace. We'll just double confirm for you if you keep an eye on the game for me, Julian.
I've got you, mate. Great run here by Fardod. Into space. Little 1-2 here with Blake Skerr. Brilliant. He's in here.
Oh, Dudgeon so strong. No penalty, says Antonio. Sanjikani writhing around. Franklin Colby in the 22 jersey, confirmation of such. I love when players swap jerseys at the last minute.
I don't think it's a foul. I don't think so, but...
They have to
dangerous.
try.
Yeah.
They have to try and win that at this point.
100%.
There's no point in looking like a fair play, like someone who accentuates a lot of fair play, like someone who... You need to look like someone who is winning the game at all costs right now. With 10 minutes left into the season, that's what's on the line. 10 minutes left to go. Cleared away, Dudgeon. One shoulder reconstruction, the other one dislocated into first grade this year. What a season for the keeper. Konate is there. Can he find Franklin Colby? Alex Kwok, now the one living dangerously out the back. Here's Kyle Dominici. Tails up, Doonside. Konate not really known for his delivery into the box. Maybe more so Dominici. Alessi being tracked by Curry, but he's got eyes in the back of his head. Kyle Dominici now. Maury Konate delivers in Kobe. No one there, no Marcus, no Icon to aim for. Cleared away, Scotty Jackson. This might bounce. How will it bounce? Once outside the box, once into the hands of Matty Dudgeon. If they can just underhit those hoofed clearances a little bit. Look at the press being led here by Taylor Hunter. He's played more than 30 games worth of minutes this year. He's still got running in his boots. Should foul him. Hasn't been able to. Advantage will be played. Chance here for Pons. Corner. Lucky to not get a yellow card, Jordan Hannon. A second yellow card, actually, Jordan Hannon.
I think you go down there.
I think you go down there.
I think you get him sent.
I think you get him sent. I wonder if he forgot about that.
He probably did. At that point, you probably just want to get on with it. You haven't got enough contact to go down, and he's basically beat the player anyway. But
he probably knows, Jordan Hannon, that there's not a lot of time left, and that they'd be able to defend with 10. You'd imagine. Ball delivered high, very deep though. Sanjikani to recycle it. What's their second phase like here? Sort of a toe punch Travella in. Away by Jaden Zwereb. Franklin Kobe's got fresh legs. He's just going to hoof it away. Fair enough. More time goes away. Curry. Scotty Jackson. Zwereb. That's stayed in the sky forever. Hannon, that took a touch off someone. Chance here. Maury Konate is running through the middle. Franklin Kobe finds him with a really good ball. Hubs is already cautioned. Has to be careful. There was the square pass on the little reversal, in fact. Now he slips over. Get back to your feet, Maury. You're going to do some defending, son. Clipped forward by Taylor Hunter. Over-clipped, though. Over-hit. Chance for Dooney to seal the grand final. Missed.
Wow. If he just plays that reverse ball, great run in there. Great build-up, great counter from Doonside. Just that little bit of quality in the final third missing.
Though in taken, might have lifted the back foot there. No one really contested it. Maybe only I'm seeing things. Scotty Jackson in strong. Zwereb in stronger. Actually ended up being a really good driven pass. He held onto R1 while he passed that one. Big tussle for the ball here. Lebby in hard on Couchy as well. Hang on, how on earth is that not Doonside's ball? There was a double foul on Couchy there.
I don't know. Give him benefit of the doubt because he's been very good tonight.
Mamma mia. Imagine if Pons were to score from this. Glenn Zwerb would go red in the face. Up rises Skur.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, my word. There's a player on the ground. Play will be stopped instantly. A little bit lucky that Blake Skur hit the deck, actually, because it would have fallen right to him had he had stayed on his feet.
Just reacted a little bit slower than what I have seen in the past, Skur, as well. I think there was an opportunity for him to just step in front of that ball even when it was going to get cleared. You just never know it'll bounce as well.
What a day. What a day of grand finals. We've seen some fantastic football. Drama. Late drama too. It's not been a thing that we've lacked on these grand final afternoons and nights. Pons have less than 7 minutes to find an equaliser. Or they're going to go 4 grand finals in a row. You know what? They've still not made a substitution. Missing Jonathan Dallaire. Missing Nathaniel Atchinson. Arguably 2 starters in their back line.
Blake Curry coming off here, it looks like.
Okay, they're going to go for a double sub. Scotty Jackson goes off. Couple of subs being made. Confirmation to come once we can see some shirt numbers, ladies and gentlemen. Well, the 16 jersey came up, I thought, on that board. There is no 16 down. My only guess was that it would be the likes of Nathan Duval to come on another one of the former Norwest boys. And Taylor Cambaz, I'm unsure. Might have just been off by 1, the referee. We'll see. We'll keep an eye on it. Ryan Dominici, that's a left-footed pass to find his older brother. Up against Kwok this time. Howarth behind him. Still,
Great
back heel, lovely. Eyes in the back of the head. Howarth to try and seal the grand final. Murray Konate! Oh, my word! The follow-up blocked. Doonside should have just sealed the grand final. He absolutely thumped it. A second chance, no. Whisked away by De Oliveira. Murray should have had a goal. I've never seen someone hit a ball harder, Julian.
He's taken that extremely well. Just really unfortunate to only find the crossbar there. Wow.
If there were any spiders, any cobwebs up in that top corner, they've just been woken up by the power of Murray Konate.
Might be the lifeline that Pons needs. Spark them into action for this last, 5 minutes or so?
Yeah. Very well could be that. Doonside need to remain resilient. Something like this could be really helpful. Howarth, he's quicker. He's not going to get there first, though.
Oh, he's done well there, Kwok. He's done very well.
I'd say Howarth has done just as good to close him down and force a throw-in. Well done by Kwok. Taken off Taylor Hunter there by Jake Taylor, who's had a pretty solid day.
Need to get numbers forward here, Pons.
The time is 9:05. The time running out for Pons. But there is still, in fact, time to do it. Wouldn't be surprised if we see 2 goals in the next couple of moments. It could very well happen. He's actually got that one a little bit wrong. Flicked towards the centre of the box. Cleared away before we got to Fardod. 32 goals, Sanjikani. Sub coming for Doonside, perhaps. A defensive one. Off. That was one of the Dominici boys, no? I think that's Kyle Dominici coming off. What a wonderful season you've had again, young man.
Big call, I think, to take him off as well with the game in the balance, but...
Zach Salturaga, I do believe, in the 21 jersey coming on.
Oh, jeez.
Poor ball.
Wow.
Another one, though.
The power was too much that Liam just got absolutely socked in the chest.
That, to me, does look like one of the Bartram boys, but I can't 100% confirm to you. 21 does, in fact, say Salturaga. Either way, let's focus in on this corner to be taken. Very deep.
Delivery,
Scotty Jackson's not in there to whip it back across the face of goal. They'd lost a bit of height with that sub. Chance. Chance. Go, Franklin, go is the call. Here comes Hubbs.
One on Hubbs. Good challenge from Hubbs there.
That was red.
Very experienced.
Almost felt like a goal-scoring moment there. At least with the way I reacted. Right, some more subs coming on. A lot of the Norwest boys. Off goes Ibi. On comes Jacob Narlis. Another one of the Norwest boys. He's a forward who's played a lot in the reserve grade. Won Hills reserve grade golden boot last year with 24 goals. Be nice to get one in first grade here in Blacktown tonight. How much time is left on your count, Julian?
Nothing more than a couple of minutes now.
How much time would you be? Oh! What was the need? Here it comes. The grand final kicks into gear as it always does. A bit of push and shove. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if that was a red card. He needlessly hacked at his ankles there. Something was said obviously on that far side of the pitch that we've got no idea about. But there was a real reaction in the kick out there, and that'll leave a mark for a couple of days at least. I think it'll be yellow, but it was a real bad challenge.
That area of the pitch as well, Mark, that we saw it absolutely descend into chaos last year. Around this time as well.
And the year before as well. Also between these two. There's something about that far side of the pitch. What is it? Must be, it's the I Love Blacktown sign. That's what it is. They don't. Has the yellow card even been dished out?
I saw one in Anthony's hand, but I'm not sure if it was given to anyone or if he was just brandishing it to warn people.
Why have Doonside got so many men forward when they are up by a goal in the grand final? So, Barcham, I do believe, in the number 3 jersey on, by the way. In that comes, cleared somehow. Very brave. High foot. That's well done by Franklin Colby, who was playing in Minchinbury in PL2. Just as little as early last season. Not long left to go right now. Still can't believe a yellow card hasn't been brandished. Narlos, I do believe. This is the time for you to rack up some yellow cards. Doonside and Holt play as much as you possibly can. What's the time read, Julian?
We're in the added time now. In the added time.
Hubs steps in. Pons going to get the ball forward. A look at the watch by Antonio Perello. Pons with another free kick. 3 minutes to be added on. De Oliveira has his word with Couchy there. Time to push some numbers forward, Pons boys. You're wearing gold jerseys. Can you seal it?
I'll be getting Aiden to even take this free kick.
Yep.
At this point.
Pushing numbers forward as many as they possibly can. It's do or die now. 3 minutes left to go. This could be their best opportunity of the 3. Ball in. Got good weight. Where might it fall to? A player's gone down. He couldn't clear because it was being hindered. Surely got to be a free kick there on Barcham. Henry Barcham in the number 3 jersey was trying to clear that ball away. He does actually win the free kick. And that'll take another 30 seconds off the scoreboard here as Doonside close in on a second championship in 3 years. Long that goes. Hold it in that corner, Murray. Don't get sent off. Levy puts one in. Last touch. Critical moment there. Another 30 seconds will be taken off here. And they'll be halfway there. Jordan Hannon from right back still going to be the one to come across and take this. Look at the number of players forward for Doonside. They're probably going to hold this in the corner. Wouldn't be surprised if there's a bit of a kick out here. Brace yourself. Clearest foul in football history. It just doesn't make any sense, Victor Levy, because now another minute's going to pass by. It doesn't make any sense.
It's not even close. He's getting into it, the crowd as well.
He has more experience to know to do better than that. The more we wait, the more Doonside succeed. They win a free kick, actually. No, it will be a throw. They are running out of time. Seconds to go. Narlos involved. Kwok came central. De Oliveira, pirouettes. Barcham in strong. Real strong. He loves it. But he kept a straight face about it. So
30 seconds by my count. 30 seconds.
Okay, your count is one that I trust wholeheartedly. Doonside are almost home. They have the ball in their hand. Long throw in taken. Franklin Kobe. Is there going to be a celebratory moment with a third goal here? Levy again in strong. Konate got there first. Goal kick. This is it. It's do or die. A look at the watch by Antonio. A whistle to the lips. Are we nearly there?
He's letting it go. He's letting it go.
This is it. This is going to be the last chance, ladies and gentlemen. The grand final to be decided here. We wait 12 months for this moment every single time. Pons lose the ball. Dominici, can they win it? Smashed in defence. A free kick has been called by the sideline. Won't matter. Dooney Delight. Dooney Delight again. Painful for Pons, but Doonside deserved it.
Wholeheartedly deserved from Doonside, and credit to them. They dug their heels in this half for a large part of it, but they got the just rewards for the first half.
It's a game where Pons didn't put their best foot forward, and once they started working into the game, it was unfortunately too late. Let's go back to the man of the moment, Ethan Eichen, with 2 goals to his name. The first goal, which ended up me really being critical. The second one won this game in the end. His positional excellence from the corner, his striking instincts, his calmness under pressure for that very first goal as well, to just creep it past when time stood still. What more can you say about the man who's probably about to take home another grand final player of the match?
I'm very proud of him, to be honest, especially with that first chance, because, you know, in years gone by, he would have tried to rifle that into the net, but he was cool, calm and collected and composed in front of goal to just glide that in, and just a pure number 9's instinct to get that second goal. Brilliant finish, no chance for the keeper, and at the end of the day, that is the difference for this game.
I feel really bad for the Pons boys. There are some who'll be considering what they do in the months to come. There are some who feel like they deserve this, who have come across from the wrong side of the M7, who really, really wanted to win this one. For Norwest-based reasons, I feel for them, but I cannot take anything away from Doonside. As you said, wholeheartedly deserved this, but their backs have been against the wall all year. They lost their talisman for upwards of 6 rounds. They've had to go through a lot of rotation. They already lost a game tonight, and they went down and lost their 2-goal cushion with a long time left to go into this one. And like last week, we said, are they going to go into their shell? No, they didn't. No. And it's so admirable.
100%. You know, we went into it about how Glenn wanted to, even if you posed that question to him about taking a 2-goal lead like they, you know, Nostradamus, they did. And they were, you know, proactive, and they wanted to go for the third. And you know what? They got the just rewards for doing that as well.
I also think there's a couple of moments tonight where things didn't go their way. They had a couple of calls where the crowd were perplexed. We were asking questions. There were a couple of moments as well where some players had to go down and play through injury. I know Pons were down on numbers for a large part of this season, still a very good squad. But they just, I have to be perfectly honest, I know we're talking about strikers a lot, but they just could not get the ball to Fardod. The only time he got in the ball was when he was dropping nearly next to his goalkeeper.
And it's where Ellie wouldn't want him to pick up the ball. Not necessarily, obviously, you want your 9 to be as involved as possible, and every now and again you're going to get him to drop in a little bit deeper. But in terms of actually releasing him and getting him to areas where he's going to be dangerous, they just couldn't do it. Every single time they tried to, it was because of a lateral long ball over the top.
Let's have a listen to this. Was it 1? Was it 2? You know how it goes. We'll ignore the art French about to be used, but enjoy yourself, boys. You've thoroughly deserved it. Look, we always talk about Pons crescendoing into a season, but Doonside, now 2-time champion since being re-promoted back into the first division after opting to take the drop down back in 2019. But they've done none of that from being minor premiers. So what do you have to say about the way that they finish seasons?
I think they peak at the right time, you could probably say as well. And I think once they get to the big day, it's very difficult or very unlikely that they won't get the job done. There's only been a couple of occasions, whereas it's quite the opposite for Pons. I mean, they're bridesmaids again. You hate to say it, but they love to get to the big occasion, but finishing the job for Pons has really evaded them again. 4
in a row now. That becomes 1 in the last 6. Unfortunately, it is a tough and bitter pill to swallow. I really do hope for those who have been here tonight, you've enjoyed the spectacle. It gave us things in the grand final that, me personally, I haven't seen in the last couple of years of doing this, not even at just Premier League first grade level, but at reserve grade or any of the 21s games or any of the women's Premier League games we've been having to cover. We've seen some really, really strange stuff tonight. By the way, just a quick mention to Ryan Dominici. What a signing, by the way. Thank you, Nepean, for lending him to the Blacktown competition. What a superstar. Julian, once again, fantastic on the mic. It is a pleasure to work with you. The third time now, it's an all-star game. I'm hoping a second one as well. And also, these two grand finals that we've done, you're a marvel, a master tactician who was doing the coaching job up here. Everything you say tends to be, everything you've said, Ponds ended up trying to do, and it made them better. And you were able to predict the game as it happens. And I hope the viewers have been able to appreciate you and what you do. Thanks for being on here once again.
No, absolute pleasure, Ma. I really appreciate the kind words, and yeah, loved every minute of doing it. I appreciate you obviously inviting me on, and yeah, fantastic to be able to call a game with you.
We're going to wrap up for the season on a personal note, as my name is Mark DePoli. Thank you so much for having me again, Blacktown fans, many of which of you, in fact all of you, are so kind to me, and I appreciate all the warm words of support that we get throughout the season for the effort that we put into this. I hope you enjoyed the podcast this week. I hope you enjoyed the spectacles that you've seen in the last couple of nights. It's been a real delight to work for you once again. I hope to see you again next year and just keep getting bigger and better. Commiserations to Ponds. I know it's painful falling the bounce, but again, showing your quality to get here in the first place is something that not every team can say. In fact, no one else can say that they've done as many in a row as you guys have. If it is a goodbye as well to the brilliant Matty Hubbard and the brilliant Scotty Jackson, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you in the competition. You've set the standard for longevity, for quality, for sportsmanship, and for tenacity, and also for a bit of cheek as well. You showed strong face in the fires of some pretty harsh criticism. If it is goodbye, fare thee well as a representative of the BDSFA. Been a pleasure, but focus to Doonside. Boys, again, second in 3 years. Keep going. You're making a dynasty. Julian, I think it's time we say goodbye.
I think it is, mate.
Until then, ladies and gentlemen, good night. Actually not an easy game to call, because that first half was challenging to be critical without being rough, because there was very, very easily you could have been overly critical and over judgmental, and even though they might have been 4 out of 10 compared to their best in that first half, it's hard to sort of point that out without sounding intimidating. Well, I mean, like, once you started playing okay, all they had to do was hold out to Doonside, to be fair, but that's what they had to do.
Yeah, exactly.
So, thank you for tonight, and I'd like everyone to put their hands together for Doonside, and for the Ponds to celebrate the 2024 Grand Final for the PL1. The PL1 Grand Final winner wins the Grand White House Memorial Cup. Grand honours the management team and the committee, as it was known then, in 1995, as the Appeal Court Chairman, and served in that position 9 years. Graham was a great advocate and the lives of the BDSFA Premier League, and when he passed, the Graham Memorial House Cup was in his honour. And his passion for Premier League will live on in all of you as we go forward and honour that tradition. As we celebrate the culmination of the Premier League 2024, I'd like you to put your hands together for our match day officials who did a wonderful job. If you could please come forward and see the medals and get your honour. And moving for praise on behalf of the board of the BDSFA, the executive led by General Manager Alvin Molly, Deputy Chair John Hall, we'd like to announce the MVP of tonight's game, and it goes to Stephen Aiken of the Doonside. Just a quick one. Man of the match. PL 24 grand final. How do you feel?
Yeah, I feel good. I can't say enough about these guys. Crackers this season. I'm unlucky on but as I said in the podcast, I don't lose one player.
Just a quick one. Where are you going drinking tonight? Where are you going to do? Everyone's looking at them. Let's go! Go and enjoy with your team. I now want to call upon the captain of the Ponds to come up and receive the runners-up plaque and medal, and also present his team to the board. Everybody, please have your hands together for Hunter Taylor. Taylor remains a competitor at every level, and it's going to be a fairly tough pill to swallow. Long season, one of the highlights.
Just the highlights, just I want to say thanks to the boys, thanks to our squad, thanks to our club for backing us. Sorry that we couldn't get it done, but we appreciate everything they've done. Also, well done to the Doonside, better team than the night. Well done. Well up, boys. Start with Hubbard. Victor. Spur. Semi. Tony. Above. Quacky. Todd. Scotty. Curry. Ibby. Dan. Aiden. Oz. Up our coaches, Karim, Ellie, Thomas, manager, Chantel, Ev, Japs, come up yellow. Is anyone else hiding?
Thank you, Taylor. Can everyone please put their hands together for Taylor and all the members of the Ponds, guys? Great competitors, been a wonderful contributors, fantastic football. Now, on behalf of Doonside, I'd like the captain to come up and receive the plaque and hold up the drum for our trophy celebration for the winner of the 24 Premier League. Please come forward, Jaden. Okay, Jaden, someone got a photo of one first. Did you get one, Jim? That's right. Jade, more now come. Great centre back to Mr. Taylor, with everything. It's a good night.
Yeah, look, these boys, I can't speak highly of them. It's a great squad, they're a great family. That was a real gutsy effort to deliver. To the Ponds, boys, well done, really came there, really tested. Just shout out Scotty and Matt, that's his boys, an absolute pleasure. Can we all put our hands together for them? Legends of the game for Blacktown. Yeah, that's all we've got to say. I'm just really proud of these boys. Hey, Judge, Leslie, Jakey, William, Jordy, Couch, Kyle, Ryan, Marcus, Frankie, Henry, Ethan Neves, Big Wilson, Zach South, we're going to be on the Teki, Jace, Ronan, the Gaffer, Cookie, Jin, Superstar Jin, Jeff Harris,
Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together again for Doonside Hawks Premier League 2024 winners. Two fantastic guys. Please get home safely, look after each other. We look forward to catching up with you tomorrow. If we're not, we look forward to 2025, guys. We'll do it all again. Thank you very, very much.